ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. We have completed verse 75, and with that concludes a particular section that he calls Ananda Mimamsa, some kind of a understanding of what Atmananda is. Now, verses number 76 all the way to 81, they are only focused on two things, to bring to light two things, one of which we have already studied in detail, and I will shortly talk about what they are. One of which we have studied in detail, and the other one also we have some familiarity with, and here it's going to be talked about in more depth. So the first theme of verses number 76 to 81 is a contrast. I mean, this whole section is called Satyam and Mithya delineation. Delineating Satyam and Mithya. Making sure we understand what is real and then what is a dependent reality, and that which shines as the universe is also real, but it is not as real as you. That is what the whole thing is. So here the first thing, this whole section is called delineating what is Satyam and then what is dependent on this I. Satyam is I. I is the Satyam. The only Satyam that is there is the self that is described in the Satasloki, which is based upon the Upanishads. That is the only Satyam. And then what else? What about all the other things, including one's experiences, including one's, everyday empirical reality? That is also, all the experiences are dependent upon the I. And what is this I? Awareness, consciousness. And in order to show this, I mean, this is something which can be talked about in many different ways. This whole thing about Satyam and Mithya is talked about in several different ways in Vedanta Shastra, in all the works of Vedanta. It is talked about, through various pedagogical devices. One such pedagogical device is called Anvaya Vyatireka. The maxim or the method of invariable concomitance. A is there, the presence, there are two things. Let's say there is A and then there is B. So, then you wonder, are they equally real? Is A as real as B? There is one way to find out. You remove one of them and then see if the other one is able to exist without this one. So you remove B and then is A still there? Yes. You remove A, then B also goes away. That is the idea. So this is one methodology, a very important methodology. Anvaya Vyatireka. And Anvaya means that which inheres. Vyatireka means that which keeps changing. So the B is dependent upon A. And in Swamiji's fantastic example, what do we have there? We have an actor who is cast in the role of a begging person. Actor A, begging person B. So then The actor, see, the body of so the entire begging person is dependent upon the actor. The body of the begging person is the body of the actor. The mind of the begging person is the mind of the actor. The tears of the begging person are the tears of the actor. In fact, the whole begging person is nothing but the actor. But the actor is not the begging person. This is how the Satyam Mithya, very famous methodology called Anvaya Vyatireka, is deployed. And then, of course, we being who we are, is one methodology enough? No. To delineate Satyam and Mithya, no. We need to be beaten on the head through several methodologies. And so the next methodology to talk about that talks in detail about Satyam and Mithya is the methodology called Avasthatraya Prakriya, the methodology of the three states of existence. Not even existence, we should call it three states of experience. And what are the three states? Morning, noon, and night. No. What are the three states? Sleeping, waking, and dreaming. This is the Avasthatraya Prakriya. Now, this Avasthatraya Prakriya, here also, we have, here also it is Anvaya Vyatireka only ultimately. Because even though it is manifest through this prakriya, ultimately what is shown is that the I which inheres through sleep, dream, and waking, that is the one that populates all these three states. That is the one that lends its presence for these three states, the waker, the dreamer. It animates the waker, it animates the dreamer, it underlies the sleeper. Can't say it animates the sleeper because the sleeper is not very animated. So it underlies the sleeper. And so this is what we are talking about, but it is not any one of them. That it is I, and that is Brahman, that is Ishvara, that is Atma. Here also it's Anvaya Vyatireka only, but it is manifest. It's funneled through this Avasthatraya Prakriya. It's a Prakriya in its own right, because we see what is left over. What is it that is the same for all these three states? And that is the presence of the I, Atma. And what about everything else? Anatma, dependent reality. Anatma doesn't mean false, it means a dependent reality. So this is again Satyam Mithya delineation. Now, just to give a little preamble of what we are going to see in verses from 76 to 81, the author, some Shankaracharya, takes a great pains to lay bare the dream state. Why not the waking state? Because the waking state is already known to you. Waking state is already known to you. And what is the waking state? Waking state is defined as that state in which all the complaints that you have wake up, yawn, stretch, and demand endless cups of coffee and lots of attention throughout the day. This is the waking state. Everybody is familiar with the waking state. You don't need, you don't need some kind of a preamble or some kind of a explanation of the waking state, because anubhutatvat, because it is already experienced very, very clearly. And what kind of an experience is the waking state? The waking state is an experience where the I is conflated to be the waker. The I and the waker are conflated to be one and the same, which is the reason why your complaints wake up even slightly before you do. And in fact, the complaints wake you up. And so this is the waking state. And about this waking state itself is the problem. So to discuss the waking state for the waker who is totally conflated with the waking state is not going to be as effective. So therefore, we take the dream state. And here again, The question might come, why not the sleep state? Because the sleep state is not problematic. Sleep state that doesn't, nobody complains, Swamini ji, I have a problem. What is your problem? I go to sleep every night. Every night I'm sleeping. And I don't wake up until 8 hours later. I'm soundly asleep. I am having such a good sleep. Nobody complains. In sleep, there is only that oneness which is Ishvara. In sleep, one is with Ishvara, nay, one is Ishvara. And so, whenever one is with Ishvara, there are no complaints. So, if there are no complaints, Vedanta doesn't have anything to discuss about the sleep state, other than the fact that you are happily resting in your glory, in your Swarupa. Sve mahimni tishtasi. You are with your own glory as Ishvara. That's all there is to say. It doesn't have much. I mean, even though it is Satyam in the sense that you are with Satyam, you only Satyam is there. There is no Mithya in the sleep state. That is another reason not to discuss it, because Satyam doesn't cause problems. Mithya, which is taken as Satyam, that is the cause of problems. And so, therefore, the dream state is highlighted because it is hoped that there is enough of a space between oneself and the dream state where one is aware enough and to be able to falsify the dream state upon waking, even though temporarily one is identified with the dream state. One is able to falsify it upon waking. That is why the dream state becomes the analysis of the dream state becomes an invaluable tool to be able to understand Satyam and Mithya. In the dream, one is furiously running as though one's life depended upon it. Why? Because one is chased simultaneously by a big cat, tiger, Vyaghra, and then a wild boar. What a boar! Sukaraha. So one is chased at once by a tiger, a wild boar with a tusk, and then what else? Then with also by a hyena, like a cousin of the jackal. Shrigalah. So all these three wild beasts are chasing you where? In the dream. But you don't know that at that time. At that time, there is a total conflation of the dream and the dream experience and the person who is experiencing the dream. And even though the ahankara is still fully, not completely, it's ardha vikasa, it is not totally manifest, still it has the ability to identify with the experiences of the dream. And then the wild, cat catches up and tears off, tries to bite the dreamer, and then tears off a piece of clothing, barely escaped. And the hyena also catches up, tears off a piece of flesh. The wild pig goes. It not only bores, but it also goes. And then suddenly one wakes up. Oh, what a relief! What a total relief! So what do these wild beasts represent? Prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, and agami karma. Which one is which you choose doesn't matter. So if the life is very scary right now, you can choose the wild tiger, as prarabdha, and then the other two as sanchita and agami. Agami, the karma that you are going to perform, yet to be done, and that's going to collect and go to the bank account, and sanchita, the bank account itself, which is the repository of endless amounts of karma. And so, karma is mithya, prarabdha is mithya, Sanchita is mithya. Agami also. Ditto. Mithya. How to know this? And because in the dream, it looks so real. It appears as real. Swakale satyavat bhati. Prabodhe sati asat bhavet. This is Adi Shankara, talking about it somewhere. Swakale means in its own time, Satyavat, like Satya, it shines. Bhati, it is experienced as Satya, it is experienced as real. The wild beast is real, the tiger is real. You can count the stripes as it is running behind you. You can count its stripes and you see that, okay, it has really bad teeth and it has not brushed its teeth in a long time. You can see that. And because it is bearing its fangs. It all looks so real. And then you can also see that the wild boar is just ready to pounce. And the hyena is very sly. It appears to be slow, but it's very swift. All these things you can see and you can experience as real. When Swakale, in that little 10 seconds of the REM state, what we call the dream state, it appears and shines as real. Prabodhe sati. Prabodha means, it can mean two things. Prabodha means morning, but also it means upon waking, upon knowing. Bodha means when you have knowledge. And what is the knowledge here? This is but a dream. This is but a dream. Prabodhe sati. When this understanding comes, asad bhavet. It is relegated to the to the arena called mithya. That is why the dream state is extremely invaluable to understand this, because we have enough of a space to be able to make fun of our own dreams. Oh, how foolish! How could I think this? And what is it that I'm doing here? And how did I take this to be real when it's not at all real? All these things very easily one can understand. And so, therefore, this example is given. These examples are given. And then we'll be going a little fast on these verses because there is a lot of repetition. And some of these understanding of dream, etc., we have already done in the previous verses. So I'll be reading the verses and some of the verses and some of the main ones between 76 and 81 and summarizing their contents, because it is just the same, it's just very repetitive. And but the author has a point to make, which we respect and we will look at. Okay, has these 2 points to make. One is about Satyam and Mithya, and the other one is to understand that so the first one is the overarching thing is Satyam and Mithya, and the other one is to understand this Satyam and Mithya from the experience of waking and dream. Okay, so now with that, let us read 77. You know, let us read 77. Okay. Uh, no, let us read. Yeah, let us read 77. भीत्या रोदत्यनेन प्रवदति हसति श्लाघते नूनमस्मात् स्वप्नेऽप्यङ्गे अनुबन्धं त्यजति न सहसा मूर्छितोऽप्यन्तरात्मा पूर्वं येऽनुभूतास्तद् तनुयुवति हयव्याघ्रदेशादयोऽर्थाः तत्तत्संस्कारस्वरूपान् सृजति पुनरमुंश्रित्य संस्कारदेहम्. Here, what is very interesting is that it is a slightly different take on the dream analysis that we have found in other works of Vedanta. In other works of Vedanta, the whole point is to falsify the dream, and that's what it is. But here, the author takes great pains to make a connection between the physical body, and where is the physical body? Lying on the bed, of course. And then the subtle body that is manufacturing the dream. With what ingredients? Memory and desire. These are the ingredients of the dream. You cannot dream anything that you don't know. Either, memory includes knowledge. Memory, knowledge, and desire. This is what it is. And because you cannot dream anything that you do not know, and you cannot dream, you cannot dream anything that is not an object of desire. Oh, but I am not, the tiger is not an object of desire. How come I'm dreaming of tiger? Well, the absence of the tiger is very much an object of desire. So, and the tiger is, of course, fear. Fear connected there. So, desire includes fear. Raga, Dvesha. Dvesha includes fear. And so here the author takes great pains to show that the dream is connected to the physical body and that the subtle body depends upon the physical body in order to manufacture or project or manifest this dream. And so 70, whatever the one we read, 77, says, Bhitya rodati. That out of fear, the dreamer cries. Cries where? The tears are wetting the pillow. Cries with the help of the physical body. It's not that the dream body is crying, because the dream body is seeing something which is frightening, and it's the physical body that is crying. You see, this is a very ingenious use of the dream analogy. Usually we are content, usually we find that, the authors are content with just saying, oh, this is dream, this is real, this is waking, etc., etc. And just like we falsify the dream state, we have to learn to falsify the waking state. It's like a pat, answer. And then and then one is completely, what's the word for it? One is completely complacent when one starts to hear this more than once. Then you start thinking, I know, waker, dreamer, sleeper, the waker is me, and then sleeper is me, and then what? Dreamer is me, and I am not the waker, not the dreamer, not the sleeper. One has this memorized after a few classes, and one thinks of oneself as an expert. But here we find a little, a little twist here. So, okay, waker is you means what? You are not the waker means what really? Dreamer is you, you are not the dreamer. How is this dream taking place? What is happening? What is the connection between the physical body and the dream state? Very, very interesting. Because sometimes, you see cats and dogs when they are sleeping, they will have little conniptions. They're also dreaming. The cat is dreaming of a very nice mouse slightly out of reach, and this mouser wants to catch hold of it. How will it catch hold of it? It will use the karmendriyas in the sleep state. Very, very fascinating. It will use the organs of action in the sleep state, in the physical body, in order to catch the dream mouse. Very fascinating. This is how the Satyam Mithya conflation occurs. And so here the physical body manifests the dream. How? Bhitya rodati. Out of fear the person cries. Out of fear the person weeps and then cries. With the help of what? Not with the help of the dream body. The person is weeping into the pillow. When the person wakes up, even though they have forgotten the dream, the pillow is wet. So, bhitya rodati. Anena means sthula sharirena, sthula dehena. Anena means with the help of the physical body. Pravadati. Pravadati means starts talking nonsense. Sometimes in sleep, all kinds of things are talked about. People like to talk a lot in sleep. Why? Because in the waking state they don't have a chance. They grew up in a family of talkers. So when will their chance come? Their chance only comes in sleep. They have been bullied, and other people are much more, what's the word for it? Much more adept in taking up the talk time. And so their talk time comes in sleep. Or there are many things which during the day have not been totally resolved. And that's why it expresses itself in this, in the dream condition. But the dreamer is not pravadati, pravilapati. The dreamer is not, talking. Who is talking? The physical body on the bed. That person is talking. The gross body is the one that is talking in the sleep. Very interesting. And then when somebody sees that this person is just, talking gibberish in sleep, then from that one extrapolates what? Oh, the person must be having a restless dream. So, bhitya rodati, anena, sharirena, with this body alone, prabhadati, talks. Pravadati means keeps on talking. And then hasati. Hasati means laughs like a mad person. Again, it's not the dreamer who is laughing. It's the physical body of the dreamer that is expressing the laughter. Then what? Shlaghate. Praises. Praises. Shlaghate also doesn't mean praise. Shlag to praise, yes. But here, is having a wonderful experience and is very appreciative. Shlaghate. Appreciates what is going on. That is after crying bitterly. Next moment appreciates. Next moment talks. Next moment laughs like a mad person. Shlaghate noonam. Noonam means indeed. Indeed, it is with this gross body alone. The person cries, laughs, keeps on, talking, and is appreciative, has a exalted experience, etc., etc. Like darshan of Bhagavan in the dream. Oh, wonderful. And then all this happens. Noonam indeed. And then what is that? Asmat, अस्मात् नूनम् अस्मात् yeah स्वप्ने अपि अंगे अनुबंधम त्यजति न सहसा मूर्छितोपि अंतरात्मा. Antaratma, the pratyagatma, the I that is indwelling, that obtains in the body mind's sense complex. Natyajati sahasa anubandham natyajati sahasa. Sahasa means at once, simultaneously. Murchitaha api, even though the body is in a state of stupor. The body is in a state of stupor. The person might as well be unconscious because they are unconscious of everything. Still, there is a connection between the subtle body and the gross body. So this indweller Atma, Antaratma, Murchitaha api sanna, Swapne api, in the dream and in the sleep, there is a connection between the subtle body and the gross body. And even though in the dream state, Swapne api, Anubandham, Anubandham means the connection. Natyajasi sahasa. Natyajati means does not give up that connection. That connection between the sleeper and the body of the dreamer and the dreaming entity, which is the dream upahita chaitanya. So that consciousness which is enveloping the dream, which is broadcasting the dream, between that consciousness that is broadcasting the dream and between the consciousness that pervades the body mind sense complex, there is a connection. Very brilliant, wonderful, fantastic analysis. So nice. And a very deep analysis. And so there is a connection. And there is a connection. So why should it matter that there is a connection? It matters because these, so there is a two connections. So this two connections. One is the subtle connection between the dreaming state, the consciousness identified as it were as the dreamer, and the consciousness that is identified with the body. There is a subtle connection, even though the body is as good as inert. And then there is also a connection between the consciousness that's identified with the dreamer and the dream objects that it churns out in the form of the dream experiences. So what does it do? It creates srijati. Tat samskara swarupan srijati. So, where is the raw material for this Rijanam? For this sarga? Where is the raw material? The raw material for this dream creation is in the form of memory and desire. Desire includes the presence and absence of objects. Desire includes even fearful objects who we do not want to ever see in our lives, even in the dream. But then that fear sometimes manifests as the presence of the very thing that one wants to avoid. And here we also have the overlay of karma. The karma also comes into the picture. Oh, so my dream is because of karma? Yes. So if I'm enjoying a good dream, it is because of my good karma? Absolutely. So if I'm horrified by a nightmare, is it because of my bad karma? Yes, definitely. And in the, that's why there are certain things we follow to avoid nightmares. So if the nightmares are recurrent, it is the psyche trying to tell you to look into something. So you can keep a dream journal, and you can journal and see what is you get some space from that fearful dream, and then see, look at some main points of why this dream is keeping on coming. What is it trying to tell you? You have to make friends with the fearful dream. So this dream journaling is very, very good, because Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, said every dream is an unopened letter that is going to tell you something about you that you do not know. But we are afraid to open the letter. We pretend it's not even addressed to us because it's so scary. And you open the letter and something bounces. Let it bounce. Because who is opening the letter? Not the dream. The waker is opening the letter. The Atma, which is identified with the waker, is opening the letter. So there's already some space. So open the envelope and, get to a place of safety to be able to look at it. And when you look at it, some themes might jump out, some patterns might emerge, and they have a way of saying that they have a way of, they are the key to looking at certain unresolved things within oneself that need attention. Having said this, what to do with this, how to minimize, reduce, and eliminate the nightmares. Ayurveda says that, eat early, eat by sunset, the last meal. Between the last meal that you feed the body and the sleep, there should be at least 4 or 5 hours. 4 hours. So if you eat at 6, then go to bed by 9:30, 10. That is a healthy way of reducing, minimizing dreaming. Oh, too much dreaming, disturbed dreaming. And so that is one main thing that should be followed, because there is a connection between the gut and the dream. And so there should be enough time for the digestion to comfortably take place. And again, over the last meal, one doesn't overeat. So when can I overeat? At lunch. Okay, eat how much ever you want and whatever you want at lunch, and then you don't eat too much at dinner. Keep an empty, keep the stomach more or less free and empty. Then the third remedy is, we say that for nightmares, is invoking Hanumanji before sleep. Hanuman is the deity of fearlessness. Is Bhagavan manifest as fearlessness. Hanuman gives courage. Hanumanji takes away fear. And there is, so you can, you don't, if you know Hanuman Chalisa, the 40 verses for Hanumanji, you can download that nowadays on YouTube. So many tunes are there. Listen to that before going to sleep. Oh, but I don't understand the meaning. Doesn't matter. It will still have an effect. If you have Shraddha that this is a nice solution, this is an appropriate solution, listen to it. Oh, but I don't know how to listen to it. I don't feel like listening to it. Doesn't matter. Just think of Hanumanji before you go to sleep and say, you take away all the bad dreams. I don't want any of them. And let me have sound sleep. And that will come. So these are the ways to manage that, manage this pralapa, this kind of a disturbed sleep here. And so this is because these tat samskara rupam parityajati, no, srijati. So samskara rupam srijati. Punar amun shritya. Amun means this. Amu means this. Amun means this shariram shritya. Shariram ashritya. Depending upon the physical body, samskara deham srijati. A body, another body is created. What is this body? It is the body of memory and desire. And so this is what it is. So very, very nice verse, because what does it show? So the body and so there are two bodies. There is a physical body which is, of course, minding its business, lying on the bed. Then there is a subtle body, and the subtle body is drawing from the physical body its memory bank, its desire bank, and out of that creating an alternative universe that is at once fascinating, scary, intriguing, wonderful, and terrible all at once. And the reaction to that particular experiences of the dream again recycles to the physical body, where those reactions are enacted. The sleeping physical body. This is what it establishes here. Laughing, talking, etc. This is what happens. And then there was one more something. Yeah, punar samskara, tat samskara rupan srijati. Creates. What does it create? Ye anubhutaha. Purvam ye anubhutaha. That which was experienced previously. Ye. Whatever was experienced previously, anubhutaha. What are they? Tanu. Tanu means body. So in the waking state, one had the one one saw an ad for the for some gym that was opening up in one's neighborhood. And in this ad for the gym, there was this tall individual sporting all kinds of muscles, rippling muscles coming out. Even where there are no muscles, there were muscles coming out. And this was the picture that one saw longingly. Why? Because one's body is like a sack of potatoes. And so one looked at this with a longing. Oh, and then in the dream, one felt like one experienced that one's body is indeed like the one that I have seen in this poster for this advertisement to the gym. So no need to go to the gym. Why? The dream body, in the dream, my body has become like a full of all kinds of, washboard abs and six pack and biceps and triceps and all the names of the muscles, quadriceps and all kinds of seps, all the names of the muscles that I did not know. I'm now, an expert in deltoids and this, everything. And So this deltoid is not to be toyed with, because it is now very, very much prominent, and all these things. And no more sack of rice flour body, which is in any shape, even shapeless is its shape. Here it's full of shapes, all kinds of shapes. And so Tanu, and then Yuvati, because these Vedanta, ancient Vedanta texts are geared towards men, basically. It is just assumed that men are going to be reading it, and so Yuvati means damsels, damsels. And then you can take whatever it is now. Yuvati means some object of attraction, some person of attraction. And then Haya means horse. Horse was a status symbol in ancient India, because if you had horse, that means you had a chariot. Nobody just keeps the horse just to graze. You have a chariot, so you're going to be in the chariot. So that means you're a owner of the chariot. It's a status symbol. Then Vyagra. Vyagra means, of course, our tiger whose stripes you counted earlier. Vyagra. Vyagra. Tiger. Desha. Desha means place. Then Adi. Adi means etc. Adi Padat, you can take other experiences, whether they are favorable or unfavorable experiences. Arthaha, these kinds of Arthaha means Purusharthaha, things to be desired, things of desires, the Samskara Jatan. So these are all born of longing. Samskara here means longing. Some kind of a samskara here means experience and longing. So you have either experienced it and you want to experience it further, or you have a longing for it and you want to experience it, or you have experienced it and you no longer want to experience it, like tiger, etc. All these are from the samskaras, and relying on the gross body alone, these are manifest. So this is 77. Let us look at 78. संधौ जागृत सुषुप्त्योरनुभव अनुभव विदिता स्वाप्न्यवस्था द्वितीया तत्रात्मज्योतिरास्ते पुरुष इह समाकृष्य सर्वेन्द्रियाणि संवेश्य स्थूलदेहं समुचित शयने स्वीय भासान्तरात्मा पश्यन् संस्कार रूपान् अभिमत विषयान याति कुत्रापि तद्वत्. So then this one talks about the dream state, and it is called Dvitiya. Dvitiya means the second state to be discussed, as in waking, dream, and deep sleep. And then what is this dream state? It is delineated a little more for us to understand. Sandhau. Sandhi means in between. Sandhau. In between. Where is it? Jagrat sushuptyoho. Jagrat sushuptyoho sandhau. In the interspace between the waking and the deep sleep. And then, so Jagrat Sushuptyoho, and then what? This is called Swapni Avastha Dvitiya. Swapni Avastha. Swapnam Swapnasya Idam Swapnam, belonging to the dream. Swapni, feminine, because it is going with Avastha, so the state. So this second state, called Swapni Avastha, the dream state, is in the middle, in between the sleeping and the waking. So Anubhava Siddha means it is established only by Anubhava. Anubhava means experience. It is experience. Anubhava Vidita Siddha. Vidita means known, only known through experience, because it doesn't have any other reality. It just has a reality of an experiential reality. It doesn't have any other reality. And so, Anubhava Siddha Swapni Dvitiya Avastha. Tatra Tatra means in that. Tasyam avasthayam. Tatra Atmajyotihi aste. Aste. Atmajyotihi aste. And then Atmajyotihi aste. Purusha iha. Purushaha Atmajyotihi aste. Iha Samakrishya Sarvendriyani. Tatra means in this avastha, in this state. What is this person? The Purusha. The Purusha is merely the light of consciousness. Atmajyoti is Chaitanya Swarupa. Is only Chaitanya Swarupa. Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa. So here in the sleep state and in the dream state also, all that is there is the consciousness, awareness, which is as though connected to the samskaras, the memories, desires we saw earlier in the earlier verse. In the earlier mantra we saw that. So here the person is just consciousness. Samakrishya. Samakrishya means having withdrawn what? Sarva Indriyani. There is no connection there is no overt connection to the karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas. The sense organs are not being used. You're not smelling something in the sleep. You're not catching something in the sleep. So therefore, even in the dream, you're not using your sense organs. You're not using the organs of action. So they are all withdrawn. Then something very interesting happens. Up till now, this is this is understood. Sarvendriyani samakrishya purushaha. Who is this purushaha? Antaratma. The Atma, the Chaitanya obtaining within the body mind sense complex. Atma Jyotihi aste is just in the form of the light of consciousness. Why? Indriya abhava. Because there is no connection with the indriyas, with the sense organ. Tasyam avasthayam yad vishayagrahanam tad atmajyotisha eva sampadayati ityarthaha. So the vishayagrahanam that takes place. Vishayagrahanam means the understanding of certain vishayas. The perception of things in the dream state does not happen with the person's eyes, nose, etc. If you have the smell of pakoras in your dream, your physical nose is not delineating them, is not discerning that, is not in use. So it is a dream nose. And the dream nose alone is delineating or discerning the smell of wonderful pakoras. And so therefore, this is what is being talked about. Samveshya sthula deham samuchita shayane sviya bhasantaratma pashyan samskara rupan abhimata vishayan yati kutrapi tadvat. So, in the dream state, you are not using the indriyas that are sleeping on the bed. The sleeping indriyas are left to sleep. Where samuchita shayane, meaning on the bed. Samuchita means on that suitable place of rest. Shayane. In that place of rest, where the sthula deha, the gross body is sleeping. So too, the gross organs of action and the indriyas, the jnanendriyas, the organs, the sense organs are not activated. They are not activated. The dream state is solely manifest as an object of experience with vishayagrahanam, with the appropriate grasping of the vishayas, objects of desire and fear, all by this Shuddha Chaitanya, by this consciousness alone. Nanu tada, I'm reading the tika here, Nanu tada sthula dehasya kagatihi iti ataha aha. Then, of course, the question comes, What happens to the physical body? Ka gatihi sthula dehasya. What happens to the physical body if the Atma Jyoti, if the consciousness alone is manifesting the dream, then what is the physical body doing at this time? And so, aha, so that is why it is said, what is that? Sthula deham samuchita shayane yatha prapti nidra sthale niveshya prasarita hastapadam samveshya यथा स्वीय भाषा स्व सामर्थ्येन स्वाप्नदेहान् संस्कारजातान् समुचित इन्द्रियगणान् निर्माय यत्र कुत्रापि अभीष्टस्थाने तद्वत् संस्काररूपेणैव याति विचरति. So the answer that is given is this. The physical body is very much available on the bed. The gross body is on the gross bed in this realm of whatever is in this realm of the whatever is called the physical reality. The physical reality has the bed sheets, and the person who is lying as though dead on the bed. So then what happens? Then Yatha prapti nidra sthale means samuchita shayane, meaning exactly the place where the person went to sleep, that's where the person's body is there. How is the body? Prasarita hasta padam, with the limbs, hands and legs splayed out, not tight, not taut, completely relaxed, spread out, with the hands and prasarita hastapadam, samveshya. Samveshya means having kept like that. Tatha sviya bhasa swasamarthyena swapna deha. Sviya bhasa, through one's own awareness, through that consciousness which is described here as the light of consciousness. Light means knowledge. Through one's own knowledge, one's own memory, one's own desire, what happens? That Atma, as it were, because of its own ability, Swapna Dehan, it enters the dream body, which is in the Rupa, in the form of all kinds of memory, knowledge, and desire. Samuchita Indriya Ganan Nirmaya. Then from that place, in order to experience the dream objects, creates dream apparatus, the subtle apparatus of the dream sense organs. Why? Because now the dream pakodas are frying, and so you need a dream nose to be able to discern the smell of dream pakodas. And then there is a disco, so you need dream eyes to be able to catch and to have a dream dance in the dream disco with the dreamy individual. And so the dream sense organs are born. And then you need some other dream senses. So all these dreams, subtle body, also it creates, because it's not enough for it to catch hold of the objects of dream. What's the use of having a tiger in the dream when you can't experience the fear of the tiger? It doesn't make sense. What's the use of winning a lottery ticket in the dream if you don't have the appropriate antahkarana to be jumping up and down in ecstasy? So that also, along with the dream object, the dream experiencer is also created based on the indriyas that are lying. The information is already there on the indriyas that are lying down on the bed. And so, based on those likes and dislikes of that person of the Purusha lying on the bed, an appropriate kind of a dream indriyas, the ways to experience the dream objects are created. This is so fascinating, so detailed, and so wonderful. And so, then having created that, so samskara rupan swapna dehan samuchita indriya ganan nirmaya, having created that, yatra kutrapi abhishta sthane tadvat samskara rupenaiva yati vicharati. So kutrapi yati tadvat, it was said here. Pashyan samskara rupan abhita vishayan yati kutrapi tadvat. So this is how it is experienced. So the physical body is lying dead on the bed, as though dead on the bed. And the subtle body, along with its subtle indriyas, karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, is going places. It is fulfilling its wanderlust. Oh, I wonder what what Africa is like. I want to go. Okay, go with the dream. So you dream of Africa. Whatever you have read about Africa, that will only come along with your own wishes and desires. I want Africa, but I don't want the bugs there. Okay, so Africa without bugs will come, because you know what a non-bug life is like. You know what you have seen pictures of Africa and you put the two together. So you go to Africa, then you say, I haven't seen these parts of Europe. But then, of course, in the waking state, it is, you can't even, you can barely afford the glossy books with the glossy pictures of Europe. So, well, let alone airfare to Europe. So, therefore, Europe is, Europe is Aropita. It should not be called Europe, it is called Arop. And it is Aropita, it is superimposed upon that dream body, the subtle dream body. And then you go to Europe, you go here, you go there. No need for visa. Who needs visa? You are a visa-less traveler. You can go everywhere. You can do whatever you want. And then maybe you even dream of heaven, because that's where you want to end up, let us say. And that's where you want to end up after the life. And so you dream of afterlife. Indra is giving you a big hug. Oh, what a wonderful hug. Indra is the god of heaven. So Indra is inviting you into heaven and in giving you a big hug. And you find you have been assigned a dream home in heaven, literally a dream home, because it has no basis in reality other than your own likes and dislikes. And so you're enjoying the dream home. Indra invites you for chai. And then you say, can you please give me an autograph? And can you please take a selfie with me? And you take a dream selfie, and then you come back with a dream autograph, and then you show it off to your dream mates in other bungalows. And of course, their bungalows are little smaller, one less bedroom, and definitely two less bathrooms. And these days, I don't know why people want more bathrooms than bedrooms. So, so the other bungalows have less bathrooms, less bedrooms. And so this kind of in this way you can go wherever you want. No place is disbarred, either due to financial constraints or physical constraints. Even if the waking person is in a wheelchair, and the person in the dream is running a marathon, competing in the Olympics, table tennis, and this tennis, long jump, high jump, and Wimbledon, no sport is barred. And in the body that is sleeping is paraplegic, quadriplegic, but still in the dream it's just intact. It runs, it shouts, it screams, it experiences everything fully, even though the gross body is what, lying on the bed without anything to do. Very, very nice. And then what is the point of this connection, etc.? We'll see next time. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.